Hello, welcome back to Sunday School and Talk. So we're going to have a primary lesson. So we're going to begin with an opening prayer. Then we'll have an opening hymn. Teach me to walk in the light, and you can find that in the Children's Songbook, page 177. So this will be our lesson. So it's about Abraham. So he was used to be called Abram, and when God made a covenant with him, his name was changed to Abraham. So this will be covered for February 7 to 13. And you can find this in the Old Testament, Genesis chapter 12 to 17, or in the Pearl of Great Price, Abraham chapter 1 to 2, to be a greater follower of righteousness. So Abraham's story is more about, his example is more about his righteous desire, his willingness to follow all the commandments of God. So how he was blessed because of his obedience. So we'll learn more about it here. So let us read here in Abraham chapter 1 verse 18 or in chapter 2 verse 8. So we can learn here that Jesus Christ can lead me by the hand. So here, let us read. Behold, I will lead thee by my hand. I will take thee to put upon thee my name, even the priesthood of thy father, and my power shall be over thee. So God made a covenant to him that because of his desire and his he showed great faith and willingness to obey God's commandment. So Jesus Christ made a covenant to him that he will lead him by his own hand. So Abraham wanted to be righteous even though members of his family were wicked. So the Lord said to him, I will lead thee by my hand. So just as God promised to help Abraham, he can also lead us, every one of us. He will lead us by his own hand. So we have here a picture of Jesus Christ when he stopped the storm with his 12 apostles. So they were amazed. So to the power that he have, the priesthood that he have, that he was able to control the nature, the wind and the sea, to stop and to be peaceful. So we can rely on to him, we can trust on him. As we seek for righteousness, he will lead us to the right path and he will give us the protection that we need also. So let us read here in Abraham chapter 2 verse 8. My name is Jehovah. So his name before he came here on earth, so he was Jesus Christ here, but before he came, it was Jehovah. And, and I know the end from the beginning. Therefore, my hand shall be over thee. So we know exactly what will happen from the beginning to the end. So what will be our divine potential and what our capacity. So he can give us the guidance that we need and he will prosper us. He will bless us if we seek for him and if we seek for his guidance. And he can show us more if we are willing to follow, if we are willing to obey the commandments of God. So here we can also learn how Abraham became a peacemaker towards his family member. So here in Genesis chapter 13, verse 5 to 12, when Abraham's herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen disagree over the grazing land, Abraham proposed a solution that brought peace. So we can use this example to inspire us and the children to know how it's important to be a peacemaker, not to rule by our selfish desire or our our pride, and we wanted uh, our selfish desire to be the one to succeed, and let not other people to win over us or to have control over us. But we can see here how Abraham showed humbleness and wanted more to have peace towards other people, especially with his own family, Lot. So let us read what happened here. So here, and there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. If thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou camest unto Zoar. So Lot saw that Jordan was very wonderful place to dwell because of the garden and the water that he saw there. So he chose the land of Jordan. So then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitches them towards Sodom. So instead of there will be conflict between Lot and Abram because of the possession that he wanted over the land. So Abraham wanted to have peace with his brethren Lot. So he said, if you go to the left, then I'll go to the right. If you choose the right part, then I will choose the left part. So he allowed Lot to be the first one to choose what land he wanted to possess, so that it will be his advantage, instead of Abraham will be to have his pride to rule over him, and to fight between Lot, and to win over the place that is more pleasing and more desirable and more abundance. So he allowed Lot to choose what land that he wanted, and he will take the part that what Lot did not choose. So this is a good example um, how we can how we can find more peace between other people. So let us make more right choices. Sometimes it's really hard to make this kind of decision whenever, especially when we have different kind of situation. So I hope that I'm also learning this way, that I will be more peacemaker, that I will not allow my pride anymore to rule over me, to win over the things I wanted, because thinking that I will not allow other people to take advantage on me. But I should more I should follow more Abraham, how he humbled himself and how he seek more peace, and to trust the Lord, whatever the situation that they will be, or whatever place that they are dwelling, that God will continue to bless them. So because of his desire of his, by why he become when we become peacemaker, God also make a promise here in Matthew chapter 5 verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. So this will be the blessing that God promised us, that when we seek more peace and more um, to follow more, or to be more humble, and to have not desire to argue or to fight with other people, then we become more his children, because we are following exactly the way God want us to inherit um um the kind of person that he wanted us to become, to be loving, to be peacemaker, and to seek always with righteousness. So here also we learn how God make a covenant, or how God keep his promise toward those people who are following his commandments, like Abraham. So here in Genesis chapter 15 verse 1 to 6, and 17 verse 1 to 8, and Abraham chapter 2 verse 9 to 11, we can learn how God made a covenant toward Abraham. So learning about the covenant that God made with Abraham and Sarah can help us, or the children, understand what it means to keep promises. So how it's really important, why we need to keep our promise that we made. So each time we make a covenant with God, it's actually giving us more power. It gives us also the assurance that God will protect us, and God will give us the blessings that we are seeking, and also the prosperity that we are hoping to receive, just like Abraham. So he obeyed with exactness, without even understanding what God has given him order or commandments that God given him. He always follow every commandments God gave him. So here we can read here, and after these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? So he has no child. He has no child. So, and the steward of my house is the Eliezer of Damascus. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. So we learn also that at the old age of Abram and Sarah, they didn't have a child. And then God told him that they will have prosperity, they will have their lineage will continue, and they will have child. So later God said Abraham. So we can see here in the picture when God talked to Abraham and promised him. So later God said Abraham and Sarah would have a son. His name would be Isaac. He would serve God and obey his commandments. Sarah was 90 years old. She was too old to have a baby. But God said Sarah would have a baby. So that will continue their legacy or their lineage. So they will have a child, even though they are in a very old age. So Sarah was already 90 years old. So it's really hard or it's too impossible for her to bear a child at her old age. But there's nothing impossible with God. So if this will be the will of God, then everything is possible to happen. So they have a child, and it was Isaac, and have continued their lineage, and they become covenant. They become covenant people of God. And whoever will accept the covenant during baptism, so it will also be adopted to the lineage of Abraham also. So whenever we make a promise of God and make a covenant through those ordinances, and as we keep it, we can see that God really keep his promise. And there are a lot of miracles that will happen. Remember that only by obedience and of faith can bring miracles into our lives and to others. So if we want miracles to happen, then let us be more faithful and obedient to the commandments of God, like unto the example of Abraham. So thank you for attending our class. So I hope that you will continue to support this by subscribing, like and share, and leaving a comment. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated for my next upcoming videos. So thank you so much, and God bless. So see you.